everybody. This is Football Psych, and I'm Coach Mad Mike.
It is Lord Sarge!
Okay, everybody. So we have a special thing for you that we're going to run over the next 3 weeks, and we are going to break down our standings based off of wins and losses per schedule of each of the NFL teams. And we're going to start this week with the AFC. To give you a quick rundown, over the next couple of weeks, we will do the NFC next week, followed by a complete playoff bracket and our prediction for the Super Bowl. This is not just a subjective thing like you hear every other analyst say. We tried to actually look at wins and losses per teams. We tried to add some drama, some predictions of some storylines, maybe even throw in an injury here or there, all for your entertainment pleasure, just because, well, we're mad and we just want to have fun with it. What do you think, Sarge?
I think that is a great analysis. We definitely have some surprises in store for you. We have a couple things, if you watch a previous analysis that we did, that will stand out to you, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But let's get into this.
Let's get into it. Come on. And, oh, by the way, before we get into this thing, if you completely disagree, or if you agree, if you think something's crazy, if you think a different storyline will matter, just get your little fingers working, put it down there, put it into the comments, but make sure, whatever you do, that you like and subscribe. Absolutely. And we would love to be able to continue to provide you your entertainment pleasure. So, getting right into it in the lovely NFL, what are we going to ask, Lord Sarge?
Well, after analyzing each team's schedule, which we didn't have in this whole process, but now we do, for predicted wins and losses, what will the division standings look like? Will the NFC be on NFC is going to be on 5 July. We're just going to do the AFC today only. But based on the division standings, what will the playoff picture look like for the 24-25 season? You got to watch that on the 12th of July. And who's our prediction for the Super Bowl? Our analysis may shock you. Again, you got to tune in on 12th July to see it.
Got to look at that emoji because that's how my face is. Because I will tell you one thing that we did not do. We did not look at anybody else out there in the world on any of their analytic predictions and stuff like that, because everybody has all kinds of other stuff. And you know me, I always say how wrong everybody else is. And we're just going to be wrong in our own way.
Always.
So if you're going to be wrong, just do it as an individual. And that's what we're going to do. All right, so we're going to start there, Lord Sarge, with the AFC North and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, hey, Lord Sarge, I want to tell you something here. Pittsburgh, I believe, will win the division by edging out Baltimore, who, oh, by the way, sweeps them, but they still edge them out anyway. And Pittsburgh has a late season meltdown after an extremely strong start. What do you think, Lord Sarge?
You know, despite what the pundits say, what all my Steelers football fans have told me.
What do they say?
They say the Steelers suck. and I tend to disagree. I think Wilson's going to have a breakout year. I think he's got the right coach now. I think it's going to happen. Let's see. That's my call.
Okay,
and I don't disagree with a strong start and kind of puttering out, but they still get in there. So I think I totally agree with it.
Yeah, do you know what would be funny? Is if everybody thought that they would just suck so bad and they really do start off with the 5-0 start. Wouldn't that be crazy?
That would be crazy. I tell you what, though, I think Washington's going to beat them.
Yeah, maybe.
I agree with you on that particular call.
I'll take that one. I'll take a W for Washington anytime I can get one.
Yeah.
All right. So then that brings us to the Baltimore Ravens, who I actually think are still going to squeeze into the playoffs with a nice little 10-7 record. I mean, they got a lot going on with them. I don't like their guard situation, but, you know, they got Travis Henry.
Derrick Henry's got to be good enough to get him to the playoffs. I mean, the Ravens are famous for coming on strong and then petering the hell out in the playoffs. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do a repeat.
All right. Well, I got them sweeping Pittsburgh. But they will lose the division by being swept by the Bengals. And they still win a playoff berth. Is that freaking insane or what?
Yeah, that is insane.
Then it brings us to Cleveland Browns with the bowling ball sheet grade card here. And
that's got to be one of the coolest schedules we looked at of everyone's schedule. That's got to be one of the coolest ones.
Well, I believe that they will be bowling during the playoffs because they sure won't be playing. So the Browns will have a mediocre losing season, even though they split games with everybody else in the division. They look okay at times. They just don't quite have enough to get there.
Just can't quite get across the finish line. They lose just enough not to squeak in. Yep.
You gotta give them something. I mean, they're in the division with the Bengals.
It's not a blowout loss of a season though, but it is a losing season. But it's not a bad season for the Browns.
Yeah,
it's something to build on.
One thing about going to 17 games in a season, you don't have 500 teams like you used to, right? So like you're either having a winning season or a losing season.
It kind of is that way. That kind of middle section is gone these days, right? You don't
right. The 500 schedules are gone unless you draw with somebody.
Yeah,
but it used to be a regular thing that you were a 500 team.
Right
now,
and that was the mark to beat, right? 500 or better, and you got a head coaching job. Under 500,
now it's about winning seasons or losing seasons.
Yep.
All right, so we have the Cincinnati Bengals who start kind of slow, then go on a hot streak, and then they fall apart. And I think that what this is, the deterioration, is because Joe Burrow gets hurt a second year in a row. Oh, you Bengals fans, don't beat me up too bad because your guys are going to be laid up.
That is not an unwarranted call on your part, Coach Matt and Mike.
I love Joe Burrow too.
You heard him last year, and that's sitting back here in the back of the old noggin still, right?
Yeah.
You know how injuries follow you around?
I did read an article about him.
Injury, going on in something over there, but you know how it can kind of get in the back of your head and sit there?
Yeah.
And then what happens? What happens? Happens again.
It happens again. And I read an article on him that when he had that injury this last year, he felt like for the first time in his career, he felt the mortal side of things.
Yeah, he was vulnerable.
That'll get in your head, dude.
Yep. It's a vulnerability, So this is going to be a test year for him, and I don't disagree with the call.
I really don't want it to happen to Joe Burrow, but I'm trying to make up storylines here.
Do you think the Bengals can come in third and above the Browns? Do you think that's possible?
Anything's possible. We could be completely off. That's the fun part about it. All right, AFC South.
Oh,
and
boy.
we get to the Houston Texans, who take their Cinderella story from last year and they make it back to the playoffs again this year, which is very doable. But they get a stinger of a loss against the Patriots.
I can't believe you're calling that one, Coach Mike. The Patriots are going to beat the Texans. I've seen
week 6, you're in trouble.
I've seen funnier things happen in the NFL. Any team on any given day, right?
Any given Sunday, and you got to
give it to the Patriots. All right.
Upset every
I
once
am going to disagree. I think Jacksonville does get a wild card berth, and then they blow it. But I think they dance in.
I don't, because I'm giving it to the Raiders.
Yep.
Raiders Nation.
Yeah.
For tinker hell that's out there.
All right. What about the Titans?
So, no, we're talking about the Jags now.
Oh, the Jags. Yeah, sorry.
So now that we're getting to the Jags with they fight their butt off all year, but then they go on a 4-game losing streak before they recover after the bye week and they regroup and get their crap back together again. But they just don't quite have the juice.
That's a very possible outcome. I can't cry about that. Losing to Philly makes sense. Green Bay makes sense. Losing to Minnesota does not make sense to me. Detroit does, but okay, all right, I got you.
All right, so that brings us to the Titans, Tennessee Titans, who have a losing season. Man, they fight their butt off. They'll win 4 out of their last 6 games after just up and down season all year. They try to make things click, but yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of promise with Pollard coming over. I mean, they might have a running game. I mean,
they couldn't do it with Derrick Henry, though. So, I mean, they were worse last year.
Yeah.
So I think this is actually still generous.
Yeah, I think it's yeah. I can't argue this.
Yeah. But you fans, you can argue the crap out of it. Just put your comments in the comment section.
Yeah, they could do that.
Make sure you like our video, even if you don't like our analysis. All right, so that brings us to the Colts, who I just destroy in this analytics, man.
Oh, my Lord, yeah.
I put them on a 7-game losing streak out the stretch, man. Like, they get decimated. And what's their turnaround point? Something absolutely insane. They beat the Houston Texans, who end up winning the division. That's the game that turns them around and they start actually winning football games.
Yeah, it gives them the motivation to do it. Yeah, could happen.
It could happen.
It's not impossible, but I don't see them winning more than 6 games.
You could also win the lotto, too. but so it's highly unlikely. But anything's possible.
It is
Come
definitely
on,
possible.
work with me, guys.
But it is
Put your
not
comments in the
possible for them to
comments
win
section.
more 6 games this year, I don't think.
No,
That's
no,
a
they're not
total
going to win
rebuild.
more than 6 games. So, like, if you're a Colts fan, you might not like that you're starting off 0-7, but let's face it, you're not winning more than 6 games this year.
Mm-mm.
All right, that brings us to the AFC East.
Oh boy.
We have
Coach
the
Mad
Buffalo Bills who just dominate.
What are you doing here, Coach Mad Mike? Oh, Lord.
Oh, my gosh, they destroy
13 games, Coach Mad Mike.
13 games. They come out of nowhere and just start dominating and sweep Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, but they suffer a big loss to the Colts, who can't seem to win a freaking game that we just talked about.
They got to drop one somewhere.
They got to drop one somewhere.
Might as well give it to the underdog who's not expected to win. You know, they underplan, they under game plan for it, and they walk in there and they get their asses handed to them.
I do remember the New England Patriots were undefeated when they went into the Super Bowl, all confident, and got their butt handed to them by the New York Giants.
Yep.
Right?
That's right.
It can happen. You go in a little overconfident and you get your butt spanked.
By the lowest man on the totem pole. Yep.
Yes. I remember one time when, like, the Redskins were, like, 13-0, and, like, the Cowboys were 0-13, and the Cowboys beat them.
Yep. That's right.
It was the year they went to the Super Bowl, the last Super Bowl they went to. They were undefeated until Dallas handed their butt to them, and that's the only game I think they won that year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that brings us to the New York Jets. Jets, Jets.
I'm going to say, I really agree with this. And if Aaron Rodgers does not pull that team up to 9 wins, then Aaron Rodgers is on the retirement path.
Well, I got him getting 9 wins and retiring anyway.
You think I think if he gets 9 wins, he's going to stay another year. They're going to plug him another year because they got a lot of work to do at QB.
You see my special little blue box there.
Yeah.
Like crap,
I don't think he retires if they have a winning season. If they have a losing season, I think retirement possibilities go way up.
I think his playoffs are bust and they don't make the playoffs and he retires. But we'll see. They surprisingly sweep Buffalo, though. What?
Yeah.
What? It can happen.
That's going to be a battle, too, isn't it? Isn't that going to be a battle? Aaron Rodgers versus Allen?
Yeah.
It's going to be some great fun. If Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, he could be dangerous with the Jets. This is going to be cool.
Could be.
It's going to be cool to watch.
He only lasted 5 minutes last year.
2.5.
2.5 minutes? He didn't even make 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, I was
counting
that 2.5 minutes he was stretching to warm up. All right, so but they missed the playoffs in the last game of the season by losing to the Miami Dolphins.
And that could happen. Cool.
That can happen.
That
definitely happen, man.
But
also
9-8 would be a great recovery year for the Jets. If they come out 9-8, that's a positive for them. So
absolutely, and that brings us to the Miami Dolphins.
Ooh, Miami.
Also go 9-8. It's an ugly looking schedule. I was trying to make it work, but the Dolphins, for the most part, have a pretty strong season, which I think that they could very much do.
Winning season, yep.
But they let just 1 or 2 extra games slip by them, and especially being swept by the New England Patriots of all teams.
Can't believe you're calling them sweep. I can't believe you're calling them sweep by the Patriots. Because that's one
you don't call me mad like
Miami. And, I would have to give Miami the home game, but you're crazy, man, Mike. You are crazy.
You actually have to be freaking mad, like Coach Mad Mike, to predict something like that to happen. All right, but that's how I get my name, dude. Just put your comments in the comment section. Which brings us to the New England Patriots. Man, their glory days sure have long passed.
Oh, did the shine come off of that coin, huh? Oh.
It sure did, man. Brady left the building. Now Belichick's gone.
You're giving a lot of credit to a team that shouldn't win those games, but they do for no reason, no good reason, right? And the games they should win, they don't win. But you're calling Cincy and Houston they beat.
That's right, man. Just because you got to go insane. They also sweep Miami.
Yeah.
That's crazy. 4 out of their 6 wins that they get, because they're only going to get 6 wins, but 4 out of them are like against huge opponents. So it's just like, Are you kidding me? Like, what the heck, man? This would be like the most insane verdict of a schedule, which is why I love it. Because it's absolutely freaking insane.
If they
go ahead and tell me, people, Coach Man Mike, you're absolutely insane. There's no way in the world. Like, they might get 6 wins, but it's not against those teams.
Yeah.
It's okay. Put it in there. And then we'll see what happens. And, man, I'm telling you, if it even gets close to that, I'm going to talk so much trash.
Calling it the way you call it, Coach Man Mike, you know what that shows?
What's that?
That they're on the recovery. They're on the path. Because they can take down the top dogs. It means it's only one of two things. The top dogs are planning. They're thinking it's a blowaway game, and they get surprised. They get their butt spanked, or they actually have something going on where they can rise up and shine.
I'll tell you, by the time I got to the Patriots, it was about 2:30 in the morning. I was a little delusional. I still got the delusional effects of doing this thing back then. So yeah, it's freaking absolutely crazy, man. But if it happens, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a trash talking fool.
Oh my God, when we come back to these charts during the season and see how these work out, it's gonna be crazy fun to go over.
I like it too, right?
It's gonna be crazy fun to go over.
I'm not even going to be close. But that's going to be okay. And that's going to take us to the AFC West, which I know everybody wants to know what the flip's going to happen to the Chiefs, man, because that's the reason why I made this division last. I was making y'all sweat it out. Well, here we go. Let's get to it, baby. Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the division by edging out the Raiders.
I can't disagree with that.
11-6. But I'm going to spoiler alert. I don't have them repeating in the Super Bowl, and I'm calling it right now that Travis Kelce will retire at the end of the year.
Really?
Even
after a playoff berth, even after the playoffs, he's gonna retire.
Even after the playoffs, man, he's getting old, man. I think because they don't repeat and they don't get the friggin' record of 3 in a row, I think that's when he calls it. Now, you had another prediction about Taylor Swift, because I say Taylor Swift, when that happens, she's going to cry. She's going to cry.
Okay, wait, stop.
There's going to be tears. All cameras are going to be on her, and she's going to be like sobbing.
Okay, wait a minute. Is Taylor Swift going to cry because they didn't three-peat? Or is she going to cry because Kelce retired? Or is she going to cry because she's so happy because Kelce got on his knee and said, "Marry me"?
All those things are a possibility. But one thing I know for sure, no matter which one of those three things, I'm picking D. Either one of them, all of them, or none of them above. But either way, she's crying.
Crying. For
she's
good
just
reasons
cry.
or bad, she winds up crying.
It is my professional analysis that I'm giving here that one way or another, Taylor Swift is going to be crying when this season's over. That is my expert analysis.
I love it. That's great. Oh, God.
And that brings us to the Raiders, who, oh, by the way, have the coolest looking schedule.
It's a bad looking schedule, isn't it? It's tough. It's
cool.
chains. It's black. It's
man, I like it. And I got them going to the playoffs. They're going to knock your Jaguars out of there. I got the Raiders going. So
this could happen.
How can you not go to the playoffs when you got a schedule that looks like cool like that, man?
Yep,
that's motivating right there, man. That'll pick you up a couple wins just by looking at the schedule.
Yep, for sure.
So I had the Raiders being the sleeper team. You know, every year in the National Football League, there's always a Cinderella story. There's always a sleeper, somebody who people aren't really paying attention to, and then all of a sudden they're just there.
Yep,
right
from the ash heap.
That's the Raiders, man. I got the Raiders being there. Like, people will sleep on them all year unless you watch this show, which is, I know, majority of everybody in the NFL. So, and you're going to go in there and go, wait a minute, somebody predicted this was going to happen. That's Coach Mad Mike. That's right. Yeah.
My Raiders might like my number 3 or 4 team. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think your list changes like about every week, but the Raiders. So, and I actually have them almost winning the division, but they fall short because they get swept by the Chiefs. So
they got mesmerized by Taylor Swift in the game.
That's right, man. They can't concentrate, man.
Maybe it's when she cries, they lose.
All right, that brings us to the Jim Harbaugh's first year as the Chargers head coach. So his return to the NFL after winning the national championship at Michigan, he sets a foundation for the future by setting up the power run game.
He got a good foundation.
Power run game. He's getting the heavy freaking power running backs. He's got himself a fresh new left tackle, but I think it takes a little while for that system for people to do it because this is a passing league.
You think it's a building year?
It's a building year. And he's going to implement a system, and I think it takes a little while for his players to catch on, so they start off losing a little bit, but then it starts clicking. They're like, okay, we can do this.
You see him losing to Denver, though, and you don't think they can beat Denver? Let's see what happens. I'm thinking they're going to come 9-8 or the winning season with Jim Harbaugh. But let's see.
They could. That's going to be good. I mean, if you give the win to Denver, I mean the win to them over Denver, yeah, they're 9-8, right? So could that happen? Absolutely. But I can't make everything exactly predictable, right? I gotta throw some wild cards in there. I gotta throw the upset that makes people scratch their head and go, "Wait a minute, how did that happen?" Because that happens every year in the NFL. Yep. It literally happens.
Absolutely.
All you guys are listening, don't act like that doesn't happen. It happens.
Hold a second. I gotta get a prop for our next team. Hold a second.
You got a prop? You got a prop for the Denver Broncos?
I got my 9-iron out.
Oh my gosh.
I got my 9-iron.
He's a golfer, man.
9-iron for our golfer quarterback and his coach.
That's right.
Who's gonna do diddly?
So when Sean Payton refers to his quarterback Bo Nix as, man, that guy looks like a golfer, that tells you all. Whoa. I'm sure he meant that in a nice way. Like he's smooth like a golfer, but like, I don't know. Like I said,
Coach Mad Mike, you know what I'm saying?
What you saying?
4!
I wish I would have thought of 4 beforehand. I wish I would have thought of 4 beforehand because that's probably how many wins they're really going to get.
Oh, yes. Oh, God. It's funny.
Oh, my gosh. But I have I will have the Broncos will have the Raiders number and sweep them in my analysis. Absolutely insane analysis that I did in the middle of the night. But Bo Nix was so flashes, but the team overall, well, man, they need a little bit more than just the golfer.
And a head coach.
I love Sean Payton, but Sean Payton, man, I bet you.
He's gone down in my book. I mean,
that dude went to Denver.
Looks like a good golfer. It just makes no sense to me. That's why I keep busting on him. But I mean, come on, seriously. 4!
Sean Payton should have stayed in New Orleans, and I bet he probably kicks himself every day because since he's been in Denver, he's been living a nightmare. A freaking nightmare.
Good call, Coach Mad Mike.
And the playoff picture, we'll do that 2 weeks from now because next week we're going to do this for the NFC. So stay tuned. You got to figure out who's going to do it because we can't give you a complete playoff picture and tell you who's going to win the Super Bowl until we cover the NFC.
That's right.
So pay attention next week for that. And in 2 weeks on the 12th of July, we'll give you a complete picture of the playoff picture and our prediction based off of a little bit of more analysis than what everybody else does, because we actually looked at wins and losses for every single team in the National Football League, even though half of them are insane.
Which we didn't have a chance to when we did our first slides because we didn't have the schedules.
Yeah, once he's talking about, for those who haven't seen those episodes, is we went through a division by division outlook. And you can look on our channel for each of those divisional outlooks, and you will see some of the brackets have changed because of analytics of actually doing something more subjective of where we thought they would improve or decline. Right. But we had to figure out then, based off of when you're actually doing wins and losses on that, whoa, the math doesn't add up. Mm-hmm. So when I did that and I had to do real analytics, whatever that means, I realized, man, those brackets had to freaking change.
Coach Mike, that sounds like Dan Campbell saying, I'm going for a 4th down because the analytics say 0.003% I have a better chance. We're going for it. Not once, but twice.
And my brackets are going to be about as accurate as Dan Campbell. So that's okay because I expect it to be just as entertaining as watching him go for it again this year on 4th downs.
Well, there are a lot of people out there that talky. But you know what? Coach Mad Mike, you always got the walkie. And that's what I love about talking about football with you. You always teach me something. I always get some new insight that no one can understand, but you call it early. You called more draft picks in this season than any other of the professionals did. You called players for the skins that weren't even out there yet. They came in. So, you know what? This is a crazy analysis, but I like it. I like it.
You know what else?
Makes it exciting.
And you know what else? There is no other analyst of any news network or any station or any YouTuber who has done this. So you're seeing it. And if somebody else copycats it, you know, you saw it here first because we got a timestamp because nobody else has done this. It is insane. It is an extremely difficult task. I learned a lot of lessons about how to do it better in the future, but oh my gosh, was it hard. And I know why everybody else doesn't do it.
Out, spread them all over the floor and call each game and do it that way. But it's really hard without
darts at it. You got to like make sure your dog doesn't eat it. You got to do all kinds of stuff, man, to try to like the things that you got to put up with to try to put something like this together is amazing. All right, well, there you go. That is our version of it. What we think about the NFL. Woohoo! 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 And I'm telling you,
next week.
Final words, bro.
Fireworks, 4th of July, hot dogs, apple pie. Have a great 4th of July.
Happy Independence Day, everybody. And we will see you next week for the NFC. This is Football Psych, and we're out of here.